Okay. Let me just check that it's coming on now, it looks like. It's a bit strange with the delay. I guess I'm gonna have to wait for the introduction part. Alright, I've got 2 minutes left. 2 minutes. I'm just waiting for 2 o'clock in the morning. Right, hi, just like to welcome everybody into this Q&A session with myself. I'm Dylan Barry, I'm the designer with RAILSLAVEGAMES. I'm RAILSLAVE to some people, but the game was made by, there's quite a few people involved in the game. As you can see, here's a credit screen. Just to talk a little bit about the game, it's sort of like an arcade action game, and it's got a very surreal story to it, and it's got music, really cool music by Toshiaki Sudoka, who was known for doing the Devil Crash music, the pinball game on the Mega Drive, and also by a lot of other people. As you can see on the screen now, there's a very weird art style to the character profiles. They were actually done by a guy called Dan Faramond, who's a teletext artist. Not sure if everyone knows what teletext is, but it's actually it was sort of like the internet before the internet. It was quite big in Europe, so he still does the artwork for that kind of thing. It was in the 80s, and that's always been a theme of the game, the teletext. How it was the internet before, and it sort of took over. So yeah, this is the title screen. Feel free to ask any questions. There's a question on Q&A. But as you can see, that says NPPDrush.net. So this is like your logging in screen for the day. NPPD Rush stands for Nauseous Pines Police Department. Your socket ID is MHLK2. Now you're a socket. As you can see there, you've got no arms and no legs. Hi, good evening, putrid meat. You've got no arms and no legs. You're basically this torso that's socketed into an experimental police bike. Indie Gamer Chick asks, how long have you been developing games for? I'd say about a year, but this game's been sort of in development for 2 years, because I spent a lot of time with the story and the stuff that preceded the actual game. You know, I made this, made like this universe for the game to exist in, which is quite elaborate. So about that long. Just to get back, it's quite a big story to the game, to be honest. So it's sort of inspired by a few games, such as Thunder Force 2 on the Mega Drive, which is like a top-down, free-roaming shoot 'em up game. Right, Indie Gamer Chick. Okay, right. I'm going to start playing the game now. So feel free to chime in with any questions you have. As you can see here, the history of your character is a Nox junkie, and her empathy level is dangerous. So there's something going on here. Putrid Meat says that it's interesting, reminds him of the Borg Queen. I don't even know what the Borg Queen looks like. Okay, so I'm going to start the game. It's a loading screen. So here we go, a bit of the backstory. Set in 1980X, which is a little theme for all my games, because So I grew up in the 80s. Nauseous Pines is in the grip of a new designer drug called Nox, developed by Ultraviolet. You're a second generation socket, as I explained before. So how many previous games have I developed? Indie Gamer Chick asks. Well, I've experimented with a few different things, mainly in like the shoot 'em up genre. So I've been working for about a year to get the patterns and to learn things, you know, with varying degrees of success. But this has always been the thing that I've been working towards. It seems like quite a simple, like a shoot 'em up, but there is a lot more going on here. There's some mild RPG elements and so on. As you can see, the art style is quite crazy. It's all intentional. I mean, these cars they're sort of based on the ZX Spectrum, which was a home computer in Britain, as well as the sky, the flashing sky, I'm afraid. So you pick up the money. As you can see here, you've got you've still got like your health points. Rush is your time limit as well, because it's a really tight time limit on this game. You basically got 5 minutes to do it, but it doesn't take 5 minutes. It takes a lot longer than that. You have to work out how to get more time. Yeah, Indie Gamer Chick says it reminds of Hotline Miami mixed with Smash TV. Yeah, that's exactly. That's one of the biggest influences. Actually, Hotline Miami. I actually had it in development before I played that game, but when I played that game, it really made me realise that games like this could work. You know, it's the right time for this kind of stuff. You know, especially the assume the handle using twin stick. Yeah, it would totally be twin stick, this would. Yeah, Indie Game Chick just said that. So Smash TV is another big influence, an Alien Breed as well, which has had a new lease of life as well. Putrid Meat says, what inspired you to go with this sort of visual style? Oh, it's really hard to explain when I'm playing. It's funny really, because one of the big influences, strangely enough, is the Phantasy Star games on the Sega Mega Drive. And as you can see, there's with the parallax, there's actually like a gantry above you, which is inspired by the dungeons in Phantasy Star 2. So that was one of the influences. Another influence was just sort of like the Alien Breed on the Commodore Amiga, Hotline Miami with all the blood as well. That was a very big influence on this game. Oh, that's my friend Ada. Yeah, so they were like the main influences, but there's all kinds of stuff, you know, games that I like. But one of my friends actually described it as an explorer map, because every time you play it, even though it's not procedurally generated, it feels that way, and that's why it kind of looks a bit random and with the placement and stuff. But as I was explaining before, I've tried to make it look cleaner. It just doesn't work. To get this sort of like this cyberpunk feel, it sort of has to be like this, you know. This is where it gets strange. This thing I'm about to go into now is the staircase, because there's 3 levels to the city, and this is where it gets very weird. As you can see, there's a staircase in the background. Oh, my time's running out. Indie Gamer Chick asks, are the graphics designed to intentionally disorientate people? The strange thing is, it's normal to me, even though the perspectives are totally screwed up. But that is intentional, because if you remember the old JRPG games... Right, I need to go to a shop. I'm running out of time. Yeah, The old JRPG games, you'd be walking up a mountain from a top-down view, but the background would be side-on, so that was intentional. I guess it's not intentional to screw them up the way you're asking, so I don't know. Right, there's actually a few shops in this game. This is like the really light RPG elements. This shop here is because you're an experimental police bike and you're what's called a rush unit, and this shop here they offer to hack the circuits in your bike to give you more time because you've only got like 5 minutes. So I've just bought some more time here. There's a couple of shops. What's the significance of the shooting the portrait? Well, I'm about to meet somebody in a nightclub. My children come from far and wide. If you notice here, it's the same person. So like you know when you start the game and you're basically faced with this torso, and one part of the game is the discovery of who you actually are and who you were before you became this police bike. Indie Gamer Chick asks, it's great music. Here's the original music created for NPPD Rush. It's actually made by Toshiko Sadaka, as I mentioned. I actually asked him if I could use it because it fitted. I mean, he offered me a couple of tracks, but this track just fitted the game perfectly because it sort of had like a bit of a Las Vegas feel to it, you know, like an arcadey sort of feel to it. So I really liked it, and nothing else seems to work with this game. So as you can see, I bought some more time. I'm on the bottom of the screen. It says I'm on floor 1, so I've more or less cleared this floor. But it's really cool music though. It's worth the price of the game alone just for the music. Which brings me on to my other point. The game's actually available on Desura for $2.99, which I think works across all currencies. Here's another shop in the game. Hey sexy, fancy with a socket on socket action? No. Right, this place I'm in now, see these things here, there are other sockets, there are other things that are similar to you, but this is where the waste products go, you know, this is where they get like dumped off if they don't work. This bit was inspired by Fallout 2, you know, and how people they go on about the graphics and how the graphics have aged really badly, but it just brings across an atmosphere. And one of the main things with this game was not so much the graphical fidelity, but the atmosphere it brings across. And as I've said before, I can't really. I've tried it in different ways, and it was and it just didn't work unless it had the clutter, you know. Right, sell me your spare organs. Yeah, this is one of my boasts. It's the first shop ever to have an organ trafficking. So first game with so basically you sell your organs and you get loads of cash, but you bleed out. Okay, Indie Gamer Chick asks, how long was this game in development for? I'd say about a year. But in different stages of development, because it did start off as a totally different game, but the story was always the same, or the main premise of the game and the name of the game. So as you can see on the left hand side, a lot of people have not understood what that is, but that's actually your character from behind. I had a review on a German site and they thought it was something else. Yeah, so it's taken a couple of years, but to be honest, I watched Indie Game the movie and it really invigorated me to come back to this game because of the way they actually described making games like you would write a song, and it just reminded me of why I started to do this, because the way I see games is I need to go back to the shop, get more time. Yeah, the way I see games is that they're more than games, you know, they're vehicles for art and music and everything, you know. I need some more cash. this place is quite helpful to get cash as well, because you get if you shoot the faces, you get more cash as well. As I said before, these faces, the same face crops up all over the game. So as you see all the writing there, like I'm nothing, and the lipstick, it's all meant to kind of oh, I ran out of time. I'll start again now. Indie Gamer Chick asks, did you have the story in mind before the game? You had the story in mind before the game. Did you find it difficult building the game around your story? No, actually I really enjoyed that, to be honest. And the game I'm making now, called Selfie, is totally about the story, and I really enjoy, that's the part about making games I really like, is the stories that you can tell, you know. And in some ways it comes before the gameplay for me, which I've been heavily criticised for, but this is the music and the story and the artwork and the general vibe is what I'm going for, you know. I want to, here we go, I'll start again, I'll play it properly now. I do actually plan to complete this on, yeah, just to show people the variety of what's going on. Indie Gamer Chick also asked, did you have to compromise any aspect of the story because of how you designed the game? No, I can't think of anything, to be honest. That's my whole point. My whole point as a games developer is it's uncompromised by anything, to be honest. You know, she says that I would criticise you for putting the story above the gameplay. Fair enough, I understand that, but that's just the way, that's just what excites me about games, is it? To me, they've become more than games. Like in the past, when I bought a game such as Fallout 2 or System Shock 2, I'd have just as much fun taking the manual of the game to work and reading the story, and it would make me want to go back and play the game more. So I don't know. I'm not saying that I've pulled off what I've tried to do. But yeah, the story is a very big thing to me. I mean, I'm on a few forums where gameplay comes first, and the games are amazing, but they lack the story elements, they really do. And my games, you know, some people that criticise them, but there's definitely something there. Indie Gamer Chick also asked, are you a one-person studio? Do you do all the graphics and coding yourself? No, I don't. As I said before, I've got there's somebody in Britain called Dan Faramond, and he does the teletext art, which is like the shop faces. I use various musicians like Toshiko Sadaka. Sorry, I'm trying not to say his name wrong. I know I said it wrong. Sakoda. Man Panics as well from the UK's done music as well. But it is I'm capable of doing it all myself, you know. I did do a lot of music and a lot of the graphics, like stuff you can see here. So one of the points of the game is actually to rescue these girls, specifically girls, because these girls are junkies, and you've got your rush unit, the vice unit of the police, has got to go out and rescue the junkies so they can be salvaged and turned into other bikes like you. So there's a bit of a dark sort of plot, you know, where the police actually the good guys. See there? Here's one of the girls. Oh, I was watching the comments there. It's a bit of the bullet hell sort of thing coming out there. Light bullet hell, light RPG, it's all very light. Hopefully I will complete this though, just to show people the depth of how much it goes into. Okay, Putrid Meat asks, do you think the games are equally a relevant medium for storytelling as novels and movies? Yeah, I think they're more relevant these days, but it hasn't been fully embraced yet, you know. The games such as I can't remember the game I was playing now. Beyond Good and Evil, is that the right word? Is that the right one? That game I played the other day, and that was seemed like a very interesting story. But all my games are storytelling and very extreme stories. So they will be. And also like I said, when I watched Indie Game the movie and the way that they explained how they made the games as well. You know, like Super Meat Boy and the games that preceded that. You know, the way he explained about how it was about his life experiences and about his stepdad and so on, it lit a fire in me, and I really realised that this is a lot better than writing songs, because you've got the visuals, you've got the audio, the intensity as well. You know, you can really amplify the intensity. Okay. Right, I need to get some time. But this is what the game's about. It's like management, time management. You've got to work out where everything is, and try to do it. Indie Gamer Chick says, I don't consider musicians part of the coding design process. That's the after stuff. Well, that's your opinion. I'm different in some ways, and I'm not saying that the way I see things is right at all, because a lot of people would disagree with me, but I think they're very important. I have actually helped to make a couple of Android games, and the cut of money I got for that was 5% for music, and apparently that's the standard for music, and I heavily disagree with that because of some of the music over time that's really affected me from games, such as the Final Fantasy games and stuff I played on the Sega Mega Drive, the Genesis in the US. Fallout 2 again, System Shock 2 again. The music is so important to me. In fact, Sonic the Hedgehog and Thunder Force 4 on the Sega Mega Drive, they're the reasons I play music and guitar and piano and so on. Right, there's a load of blood on this bit, which I planned it like that, because the blood's a big thing in this game, partly for Hotline Miami reasons, but if you notice, if you actually ride your bike over the blood, there's like there should be a blood trail. Oh. Something's gone horribly wrong there. There we go, there's a blood trail. Bit of a bug. I think my frame rate is going a bit bad because of the streaming. Alright, some big questions there. I will get round to them now and just try not to die, because you really have to concentrate when you play this game, because like I said, you've got 5 minutes to start with, and then you've got to work out where all the junkies are, all the girls you've got to save, and you've got to work out where the shops are, where you can get more time. So if you save a girl, you get plus 10 health. I'm sort of wishing I'd made them plus 10 times better. That's just the way it is, you know. There's a lot of memorization involved in this game. So if you look on the bottom of the sort of HUD, it tells you what floor you're on, so I'm on floor 2 at the moment. Indie Gamer Check says you were candid earlier in saying the game wasn't well received by most critics. What was the feedback on it? The feedback, I think people, for the most part, were very confused by it. They didn't get it at all. They were very confused, which is good. I consider that quite good feedback, because it is a confusing game. But when I grew up, you'd basically, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm old or anything, but you'd play these games, and if you were confused by them, you'd play them more. You know, something like the mystery of it, you'd come back to it. But nowadays, you play stuff like Call of Duty, and you know exactly what you're going to get. So this game is something different, and it might just look like a shoot 'em up, but there's something else going on. So hopefully if one thing I achieved, I hope I just achieved like an air of mystery, like people are like, well, what is this, you know? In Gamer Chick also says, if you remember I'm tone deaf, I don't listen to music recreationally, and often play games muted. Oh well. That's, I'm afraid to say, that's your loss. There's some incredible music on games. Right, I need to get some more time now. But yeah, like you said, you're tone deaf, so I'm not hating on you for that or anything. I do need some more. Okay, Putrid. I'm just going to stop a minute to read some questions. Putrid Meat says, Beyond Good and Evil was a great story-based game. However, larger success eluded the game due to gameplay and mechanics. Do you think it's important for future good gameplay in order to bring the story to a wider audience? Yeah, I do actually. Like I said, this is my first sort of game to be released, you know, on Desura. I've got to remind people that it's on Desura for $2.99. But in the next game, I'm really going to actually, the story is totally crazy in the next game. But yeah, it's one of the criticisms, you know, I might have tipped the balance a bit too much on the story side. Okay, so it says I've helped 12, so I've got to get 12 more girls. So these parts here, as you see, you get more cash for this, which is quite invaluable. This music, I actually done this music, which I'm pretty proud of. The writing on the bottom, I'm nothing, it's all to do with, see, this game was made at a time when my self-esteem was really low, and there's a lot of that in this game. And this character as well, she's basically got no arms, no legs. She's used to be a junkie and she's been turned into this vice unit bike, and she's nothing, but she wants to know where she came from and who the prototype was. And all throughout the game you see this face, this Ultraviolet her name is. This is where the title of the game comes from. So hopefully when the player's not being constantly assaulted by stuff, right, I'm on the 3rd floor now, so this is where I should find the last few people if I play my cards right. Oh great, my time's going again. Some nice feedback I had. Actually had a guy from Germany actually emailed me, because there's a code at the end of the game. Whoa. Yeah, there's actually a code at the end of the game. For the first person to complete it actually won a prize, which we're still trying to sort out at the moment. But this guy in Germany actually emailed me and gave me the code, and it was such a cool moment for me that someone actually spent that time to play my game and complete it. It was really cool. Right, I'm going to have to go back to the shops a minute. Hopefully I'm not going to die. No, shop. That was close. Do you think using your emotions to drive game development is important? I use my emotions to drive my game reviews, and I truly believe that's why my reviews stand out. Yeah, well, that's your personality, I guess, and I don't know, it's quite a hard question really, because some of this stuff subliminally leaks into your art. Like, that's your art, is game reviews. This is Indie Gamer Chick who asked this, by the way. So it's subliminal. Yeah, I think so, and in the future I'm really going to elaborate on this in my next games, because some pretty dark things have happened to me this year. So I have no idea where that enemy came there. So I ran. Yeah. Yeah, so in my next game it's going to get pretty dark, to be honest, because I've had well, basically I was in church for like 6 years, and I left, and when I left I really devoted my time to this, so there was a lot of things going on in my head at the time, and the next game a lot of that's going to come out. Right, I'm going up to the next floor to get the last few people. Yeah, low self-esteem when I made this game, yeah, because well, like I said, I just left like church, which I really loved, and I discovered a few things and was very confused because everybody seems to have a different god, and it gets pretty personal. There's a bit of that in here. So this is what I'm nothing and no arms, because I went from a very active life to doing nothing, basically, so I guess that might be subliminal. But I should expect that sort of a question, because I guess it's part of the game, you know, and if I wrote a song about it, I'd be answering the same question in the same way. Alright, Dark Wall Padland says, I go to church, I'm a Calvinist. Yeah, me too as well. I'm a very extreme Calvinist, to the point where I actually can't go to any other church ever again. Yeah, I don't know if I want to ever again, to be honest. So some pretty dark things are going to come out soon. My next game actually is going to be very theological, but not in not like a Bible bashing way or anything. Totally different, you know. They're based on a lot of stuff. There's not really much of that in this game. Originally there was. Right, I need one more person, and then I'm on to the last boss. The boss. It's a very short game, but as you've seen, it's taken me a while. Now this is where it gets a bit crazy now. This is what I pride myself on with this game. This is an organ. This is a place where you can sell your organs for extra cash. You can see there's blood everywhere and these torsos lining up for the extra money. Okay, so I'm going, yeah. Welcome to the health clinic. So they left your... Sell me your spare organs for cash. Right, yes. You take care now. Right, so I've made myself 10,000 cash, but I'm bleeding out now. So I've got more money, but now I can go to the pimp. Yeah, it's the first in any game, I think, selling your organs for cash. I can go to the pimp and I can buy one of the girls I'm meant to be saving. I can actually buy. So there we go. Now I've got to get back now, because I've saved everyone. I've done my mission. My mission was to basically save 30 junkies, so their bodies could be salvaged, so they could be turned into the same thing as me, this bike. Karos, what was the most challenging aspect of developing this game? I think it was because I programmed this myself in C2, and this is my emotional music moment. This is where you find out who you are and everything. Spoiler alert. Yeah, I had to actually learn all this, and basically from the very start of learning that program, I was making the game, you know, so it was just getting the skills to pull off some of the things that I've done on the game, which isn't, you know, it's not amazing, but it runs, and some people have said it's a solid game, so that was a big oh, thanks. Dark War Padland says, I like the neon cars, very nice contrast. They're actually inspired by the palette of the ZX Spectrum from the UK. So some of the colours shouldn't work, but I have, like I keep saying, I've tried it in different ways, and this is the only way it worked. This is where you basically meet this woman that you keep seeing her face. Hopefully you didn't read that and ruin the game for yourselves, but as you can see there, that's one of the women that you spoke to earlier, and this face that keeps appearing. This music was actually I chose this music because one of my friends from school actually died. Will Miller, he died a very sad death. And another one of my friends, James Brock, Man Panics, he wrote this track for him, this trance track, and I really liked the emotional weight of it. So I just thought it would really suit this moment when you actually find out, you actually find your mother, sort of thing. I shouldn't have said that, should I? Oops. So this boss, she's chucking dead kids at you, all of these rejects of the program that you're on, because you're this experimental bike and you were salvaged yourself, and all these kids here are the rejects. if you get caught in a blue laser, that sort of stuff happens. I'm getting quite good at this actually, I'm not even getting it. Indie Gamer Chick says, that boss looks at me before I get my first Pepsi in the morning. That's pretty hardcore, having Pepsi for breakfast. It's not, you brush your teeth with a bottle of Pepsi, is it? Nice hardcore. But I should be shooting this, but yeah, the whole theme of the game, while I'm dodging all this stuff from ninja efficiency, the whole theme of the game is that these police bikes were made at a cost, and there's a lot of rejects where the technology didn't work, and all these kids being thrown at you are the rejects. So if this woman who's piloting this big fly thing is actually they're all her kids basically, so it's pretty dark. And you're one of her kids as well, but you've got this big this moral dilemma now, because she's seen as the bad person in the game, and she has to be stopped because she's going to destroy the city because of what they've done to her. So you've got to sort of, you know, you have to destroy her, though even though all the bad things have happened. I'm about to complete the game. Yeah. Yeah, Indie Gamer Chick said it's weird because if someone jumped into the stream right now, they might think NPPD Russia is a space shooter, not the wild psychedelic shooter it is. Thanks, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said. I know you're not saying it's good, but you know, I don't need good or bad, I just need descriptions like that. That's cool. Yeah, but I don't know if I achieved it, but yeah, that's what I was trying to go for, the fact, this motherhood thing. Like how she was throwing these rejects back at you because she saw them all as her children, you know, and she was basically the prototype. The Ultraviolet is the prototype. So and you're like the Mark II, which I'll show you now in the title screen. Future Meat said, that is really interesting story mechanic. If girls are saved from being junkies, they face becoming a mutilated cyborg weapon. Do you think developers should feel more free to explore such dark and fatalistic themes? Yeah, I think they should be free to do whatever they want to do, to be honest. I've been looking into a lot of the games in the 90s, a lot of the PC games, and they were so different. They were really dark. Like there's games like Bad Mojo, where you play a cockroach and you've got to like solve all these puzzles and stuff, and it's a really dark, surreal game. It's a massive influence on that game. All the games in the 90s, Carmageddon, all these games, you know, they were really dark, and the PC was the place you went to if you wanted originality. And now the PC is it's coming back, I think. But yeah, they should be free to do whatever they want to do. And my next game is going to be so, you know, Manhunt as well. Yeah, I really love Manhunt as well. Indie Gamer Chick said we're going to get a review of NPPD Rush on Indie Gamer Chick sometime in the next 30 days. Probably by Indie Gamer team member Miko. Thanks, I'd really appreciate that. It's hard really, because in a way this is a story, you know, and sometimes the gameplay gets in the way, if you know what I mean. But it's a story on a computer game, so yeah. But don't know if I could talk about my next game, but the next game is going to be incredibly disturbing, very strange. But if anyone wants to purchase this game, it's on Dizura for $2.99. NPPD Rush, the Milk of Ultraviolet, and yeah. So as you can see, yeah, this was actually the character that you play in. MHLK2. Did you get that, Milk? So basically, you are 2.0. So the whole theme of the game is who is 1.0. And an Indie Gamer chick says you totally have to debut Selfie on Indie Gamer TV. Yeah, I'd be very proud to do that, because that game is going to be totally insane. Don't know if I could speak about Selfie, could I? Is that a possibility? If I just stop this again for a minute. I actually don't think it is possible to speak about that game. It's getting really hard to explain my games. They're just too insane. But Selfie is very weird, and it's a really cool person. Just give a shout out to the Royal Railway. I can't even pronounce the games they make, to be honest. They're from Sweden, and they're just really cool people. Yeah, well, one of them is going to help me to Ava, who's watching this now, is going to help me to program Selfie. And put it this way, we basically had to today the programming assignment was to basically program a room full of flies. That was how it started, and by the end of the day it turned into a room full of flies that are having a civil war with laser guns. But that's me, Royal Railway, yeah. So basically you're in a room full of flies that are having like this war, like a civil war. That's how mad it went. And the game's nothing to do with that, that's just in the background. Indie Gamer chick said something really cool then. She said, hell, you can show it off and do a live development of Live on Gamer TV, and we have a show centered around development. That'd be really cool. A lot of the development is actually in my head. This is a strange thing, but it is happening. It's totally happening. But I'd urge you all to check out the Royal Railway. They're really they're basically, do you know when you want to find like these new wave of weird indie games? They are the people, like, you know, they are the people you're looking for. Definitely inspirational. They're proper indie hipsters, if I can say that. Yeah. So basically, just to sum up this game, it's a game where you shoot stuff, you've got shops, you've got a time limit, but you can buy more time, you can sell your organs to get more stuff. See, a lot of the aesthetic things, I don't want to show that for too long, because I know Indie Gamer chick's got problems with epilepsy, but that sunset there is actually a loading screen off an 8-bit computer from Europe, you know, the ZX Spectrum. So there's a lot of weird design that people don't understand in this game, but there's a meaning behind everything, and hopefully it all comes together to make the sum of, you know, the sum of all the parts. I mean, a friend of mine actually didn't really want me to do the parallax because he said it was too confusing, but I just couldn't leave it. I just had to have that layer on the top. Ah, that's cool. Indie Gamer chick just asked Royal Railway when the heck they're going to show their games. So that would be, I'd really love to see that. They're basically like the cool kids, you know, they're the real deal. All devs are welcome. I sort of, a lot of people have said about this game, they said it's like a bit of a meta sort of game, you know, there's stuff going on behind the scenes, and they're completely right. I was just reading a comment that Indie Gamers said about the epilepsy consideration. Yeah, I really did think that, because there is a bit of flashing going on. But with the meta thing, maybe when people, because nowadays people don't really have the patience that they used to have with games, and maybe when they take time and read and think about it when they walk away. They might want to play it again just to get more of the story. So basically, all these faces coming at you. I done that intentionally. A lot of people don't actually like that, but it was intentional because I wanted them to keep seeing that face and thinking, well, why do I keep seeing that face? And then think about what the game's called, the Milk of Ultraviolet, and you know, the plot. You know, so I really wanted to keep that in their focus. I'm not sure if I achieved, but that's the characters. Right, my time's actually running out on this. I'm gonna go back to the shop. See, yeah, you can see the stairs and it tells you when you're going up and down. I need to buy some more time for my system clock. Indie Gamer Chick asks, where did the inspiration come for the enemies? Well, basically I just draw stuff, you know. The things that run at you were actually inspired by Alien Breed on the Commodore Amiga, and it's also on the Vita as well. These things here were just like the general stuff that I draw. I did draw a lot of the stuff, but just to give a shout out to someone else, there's somebody who works at the NG Dev team, which make Neo Geo games, and Gryzor his name is, and he's been a massive inspiration to me, to be honest. A lot of people from the Shmups forum, which deals with like the bullet hell games and shoot 'em ups, they've been a really big inspiration to me with art and a lot of things. You know, I don't always take their advice, but yeah, they've been a huge inspiration to me. I'm running out of time here really badly on the game. That's the thing, you've really got to plan your attack on this game. And so I was quite impressed when this guy actually emailed me and said he completed it. I was shocked. I asked him to prove it. Right, I need to get a bit more time. Right, I've got a bit more time. I'm just going to show you where else you find that face. See the way this is designed? It's this is meant to be like the barter town of the place. It's called Socket Town actually. This is where all the rejects go. As you see these things floating around here, you know, in a weird perspective again, slide on. But this is basically their town, and people have moved in here to exploit them. Like this pimp guy here, he's basically exploiting them. Indie Gamer Chick said something quite funny. She said my father's watching and said it's like someone dropped acid and started playing Robotron. That's really cool. I'm glad I'm really glad you can get that. I don't know if that's a compliment or those buildings there were inspired by some of the backgrounds in Super Meat Boy actually, in particular. Right, this is sort of meant to be a nightclub. This is why you get all these rejects congregating here, and here you find that same face again. And this is actually the song that I wrote, which inspired the game. She's repeating it and saying, "Ask yourself why you cannot move in my presence, my child." But yeah, actually, some people actually called me the evil Jeff Minter, and Jeff Minter made all those weird games in the 80s, you know, with like the llamas and so on. But I'm not aspiring to do anything like that at all. Oh, there's a bit of a bug there. That's strange. That's not good. I've never seen that before. Bug hands. Yeah, I'm not aspiring to be anything like that. I'm basically myself, you know. I don't really... Like I said, I was quite influenced when I watched Indie Game the movie and saw games such as Fez and so on, you know. But these games are superhuman to me, the programming, you know, so I wouldn't even attempt to be like that. But what I can do is make weird stuff. I'm going to run out of time soon on the game, so maybe it might possibly be a good place to stop, you know? As soon as I run out of time, you can see my nice graphics. Yeah, space 10 is 3000 space giraffe. The funny thing is, actually, my publisher for this game was actually the person that published Tempest on the Atari Jaguar. He was also yeah, he worked a lot with Atari and Atari Jaguar, so he's really going on that whole Jeff Minter thing. Indie Gamer Chick said, what aspect of your own game are you most disappointed with, or wish had come out differently? Oh, that's well, to be honest, the control scheme is like Hotline Miami. You know, you got the WASD and the mouse, and it wasn't designed for that. It was actually designed to be played with just the keys, and which that's how I developed the game, and I really love that. But just the pressure of having to cater for an audience, to be honest, because to be honest, the whole point of indie games to me is that you're making games that you want to make. And basically this is the game that I wanted to make, and I really enjoyed making it, and it was inspirational, and I loved doing the art and learning how to make it and getting the music together, trying to work on emotional parts. You know, I know it doesn't look emotional, but there was work done to get some kind of an impact. Like this music, for instance, like the fact you start up and you've got this login screen and this nice music, but you basically got no arms or legs. I thought that would have a really big impact on people. It'd probably go over a lot of people's heads. But NPPD Rush, at the moment it's not coming to other platforms. I'm sort of done with this, and I want to move on to Selfie now, because this is basically the next things that I make are not going to be necessarily games in this regard. They're going to be more experiences. I'm going to try and make something on the Oculus Rift that's more of an experience. You're stuck in a room. Again, you got no legs for some reason, but so I probably won't be. I mean, even if this blows up, you know, I want to move on to other things. You know, I'm that kind of an artist. I don't like going back to things. Okay, so yeah, it's available on Desura for $2.99. I think it might have just gone up. Nah, $2.99. It's not a lot of money, but it's definitely worth it for the music. You know, I definitely recommend it for the music that Toshio Kai done on here, and Man Panics and everything, you know, and just the story. Putrid Meat Thing said, I think the Oculus Rift experience would be a great environment for you, actually. Yeah, I really think I'm going to do something totally different on there, because at the moment you've got all these jump scare games, but what I'm planning is it's going to be deeply personal, but it's going to be quite different, and it may not work, but if it works for a certain number of people, then that's cool, you know. But it's going to be very, very experimental and very uncompromised, you know. I'm not one of these people who puts in like 3-hour tutorials for games because I hate them myself, you know. So it's going to have no concessions for people. Indie Gamer Chick said, if I ever commit murder and get the death penalty, they could execute me by putting this game on Oculus Rift and making me play it. Yeah, yeah, me as well, to be honest. But it's got a nice title screen in there, nice music. This is actually some of the other music that was done for it. This is made for the games, I think. As PC devs, what's your opinion on Steam machines? To be honest, my own opinion is I don't really have an opinion, to be honest. I've really lost faith in all the consoles and the games and so on, to be honest, because we fall into the same trap that happened in the 80s. Everything's just the same thing year after year, but with these new indie games coming out, and I don't know, I'm more excited about the Ouya and the Oculus Rift, to be honest. Okay, right, so I'm going to wrap it up here now. I think that's enough punishment for everyone for one night. But thanks to Indie Gamer Chick for having me on for the Q&A, and thanks to everybody for putting up with me, and hope, I don't know what I hope, but okay. Thanks a lot, everybody.